We got it locked from your block to the comic shop.
It's your boy Doug Floyd, and the place to be, and the place to be is Doug Floyd. This is Hip Hop Marvels Podcast, Thunderbolts / the new Avengers Blerd chat. We do these every once in a while to, kind of review and critique, certain MCU movies. I think the last one we did was Multiverse of Madness, which was a while ago.
Yeah, that was quite some time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and that
was a minute ago. Damn.
Yeah. And so there's plenty of movies in between, which I mean is the premise for this Blerd chat because, as me and you talked before, Jig, this is going to change the MCU.
Oh yeah, this is the setup for everything. Yeah, they said this was the end of the Phase 6. This was the last movie in the phase.
Right. Please remember to listen, share, rate, and subscribe everywhere you get your podcasts. I know we haven't done a podcast in a while. We'll explain that next episode, but we haven't gone anywhere. We're back, and we're back better than ever. You know what I mean? Some of those things will be discussed, though, due to this movie. I remember I was telling Terry earlier, because Terry and I talked about it. He should be on a little bit later. But I was talking to him about it and was telling him that this movie is kind of like a therapy session. You know what I'm saying?
It was like that. Yeah. All of those characters were tossed aside, man.
Yeah. And it played off of mental health. I'm a big advocate for mental health awareness.
Right.
Just based off of the fact, like the known fact that I'm a ex-military, U.S. Army veteran. Iraqi veteran, suffering from PTSD and anxiety. So I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get a lot of the different tropes in the movie, and we'll get to those later. But there's a lot of critiques going out about this movie. Jig, what did you think about the movie? And I'll ask you this at the end because we're going to rate it. But overall, like what did you think about it, and what did it do for you as far as hitting on the mental health aspect?
For me, it was just another hit for Marvel. I liked She-Hulk. I liked the Marvels. I liked the Eternals. All of the ones that everybody. It was like it was hip to say you didn't like them. Those were really, really good movies for a lot of reasons. Especially with the Eternals, there was a lot of characters just like this one. And they did a good job of speaking to the fractured nature of them, kind of like they're forced to do in a lot of the Deadpool projects. You don't usually get that much of like a really nakedness of the character. They were really, really deep into their mind. Excuse me. Sound like I was at Diddy House. Yeah. It's crazy.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Red, I know you established that you hadn't seen the movie. But like I explained earlier, this is a learning curve for you, which is great. I love that, and we're trying to advocate for more people to go see it. So this is perfect. Okay. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's getting a person from the outside looking in. Right. From what you heard, because I'm sure Jig had, he talked to you about it. Not too much.
Not much. No. My research started yesterday and today. I've been watching it yesterday and today.
Okay.
And I kind of did it in the laptop, so it was really no sharing it with her.
Got you. So I know Terry. I think he saw it Thursday. They released they do the early release. Okay. On Thursday.
Okay.
He went to that one, and then it hit theaters Friday. And my wife and I, we went Saturday afternoon, around around 3 p.m. ish, around that time.
Okay.
And it's crazy because this movie is one of those movies that my expectations were low just based off of the characters alone.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh,
right.
all of these characters, I'm familiar with the Thunderbolts.
Throwaway characters, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm familiar with the Thunderbolts comic book characters.
Right.
But, just seeing that first trailer that they released, I forgot where they released it at. Mm-hmm. But it was like it was the trailer of everybody. Remember, they were driving down the road in the limousine.
In the limo,
and then
yeah.
Bucky,
absolutely.
and then Bucky comes and he flips the Humvees and everything.
Yeah,
and then eventually the limo and everything. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, I was like, oh, this might be something. Yeah. But still, based off of the characters, because like you said, you had all of these quote unquote reject characters. Right. I think they hit in the movie. They hit on that a lot, like Dime Store Captain America, and
they call them rejects all.
Like even the fans are calling them like the great value Avengers and all of this.
Team Avengers. They call it. What did you say? Yeah. Avengers.
Yeah,
they're disrespecting them all kinds of ways.
Why are they calling them that?
Okay, so we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So and then I do want to hear your take after, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna get into the a little quick synopsis of the film.
Okay.
And then we'll break it down. All right.
Okay.
So Thunderbolts, it was directed by Jake Schreier. The screenplay was done by Eric Pearson and Joanna Kalo. The film features a score by Sun Lux and it's like the entry into the MCU's narrative landscape, or whatever. So, complete cast. You got Florence Pugh. She plays Yelena Belova, Black Widow.
The new Black Widow.
The new Black Widow. Yeah, the new Black Widow. Yeah, actually, I'm glad you said that, Jay, because I'm sure you're probably familiar with the old Black Widow, right?
She died.
She died. Yeah.
Yes.
She died in Endgame.
Endgame, yeah, when she jumped off the cliff. She did go back and watch all the MCU movies, so she is familiar.
So with those. So we can reference back. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can reference almost anything. She'll pick it up.
All right, bet. All right, so you have Florence Pugh. She plays Yelena Belova, Black Widow, the new Black Widow, which is she's a former assassin, and she's in this movie she's just like seeking redemption, which is the main. And Jig, you text that to me earlier. It's about redemption.
One word. Yep, redemption.
Because I remember I was kind of letting y'all know I was in a deep depressive state at one point. You know what I mean? So there's Florence Pugh. Like I said, she's Yelena Belova, Black Widow, sister of Natasha
Romanoff.
Okay. Yeah. So she's her sister. Okay. Then you have Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier. He's a super soldier himself. You know that whole spill. Winter Soldier is one of my favorite MCU movies. Dope movie. So then you have Wyatt Russell as John Walker, U.S. agent. Now John Walker, that's his character. You'll learn to love to hate him.
Okay.
Am I right, Jig?
That's a perfect way to put it.
He's
one
asshole.
of those guys that learn to love the booze. Yeah. You boo a villain, but he's not a bad guy. He's an asshole.
Could tell he's an asshole, but you could tell he has good intentions. He's one of those guys like he's the U.S. agent, for God's sake. So he wants to stand for something. He's ex-military.
But he's the United States, for God's sake, so it can't be but so good.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So Wyatt Russell is playing him. You have David Harbour as Alexei Shostakov, and he's the Red Guardian.
He's like the Russian Captain America.
He's like he was in the Super Soldier program as well. And that's one theme you'll find throughout Marvel is that a lot of the characters have gone through some type of super soldier experiment.
experiment training or
training,
some sort. Absolutely,
yeah. For the
Always.
most part,
Most of the major characters,
yeah, for the most part. And lack of it turning out successfully too. You got to add that in there too, because we just saw Captain America: Brave New World, and you had the leader in there, and that's a failed attempt. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The extremists program failed attempts and stuff. So, you know, so
Iron Man,
yeah. So you're dealing with people trying to duplicate what Captain America became, and either succeeding in some way, shape, or form, or failing, but not quite
failing successfully, right?
Yeah, successfully, and not quite getting it to the expectations of Captain America. You know what I'm saying? They can't quite get, because if you remember in the first Captain America, the guy that created that serum, he died. And the recipe went with that nigga. You know what I'm saying? So, you have David Harbour, and you might remember him from Stranger Things as well.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So, and you have
that's the one who was taking care of 11.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's who that is. Yep.
Yeah. Exactly. So then you have Hannah John Kamen as Ava Starr, Ghost. Yeah, you might remember Ghost from what was it, Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Ant-Man.
Or Ant-Man, right?
It was the first one, I believe.
The first Ant-Man. And I've grown to love her character. I probably, I'll explain that later.
She's no nonsense.
Yeah, I'll explain that later. And then you have Olga Kurylenko as Antonio Dreykov, Taskmaster. Which they did her dirty.
They got rid of her in the first scene.
Yeah, they did her dirty.
That's an easy explanation.
Yeah, and I must say, I know we kind of all over the place here, but like we're going to be hitting y'all with spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie by now, cut it off. Well, actually, we just kind of spoiled one thing. So if you want to continue to be spoiled, keep listening. If not, shut it off now and come back.
That fight in the beginning with Taskmaster and a U.S. agent, they were battling hand to hand, and he was shooting at her point blank range, and she was blocking the shots, and then she bounced the shield, blocked the shot low, and then he jumped back up, blocked the shot high in her face. I was like, God damn! But then Ghost just came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
wow. Just blew her head off, and everybody just stopped. Like
the whole theater was like, wait,
fighting.
What?
Yeah, like we was brawling, but I ain't come here really to kill nobody. Everybody was looking like,
right, and we'll get it.
Damn head up.
Yeah, right. We'll get into that. So there's Taskmaster. Then you have Lewis Pullman as Bob Reynolds, Sentry / The Void, and Sentry. That's a whole nother character, complex character. And we'll get into him, but I'm just going over the cast real quick. You have Julia Louis-Dreyfus as Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. That name is long. Remember she told what was Senator dude? What was
with the black guy?
His name is it's leaving me right now. Something Pierce, something like that.
He's always in the black TV shows. He was just in something we was just watching too.
He's in Raising Kanan. Right,
he's Pops and Snaps.
He's sitting at the table. Yeah, sitting at the table. Him. Winston Pierce? Is it Winston Pierce or something?
Winston Pierce. Yeah,
it's something like
Pops
that.
And Snaps
or Wendell Pierce or something like that. I think it's Wendell Pierce.
Sorry, it is Wendell Pierce.
Or Wendell Pierce, something like that.
Wendell. Yep.
But yeah, she was remember when she was telling him, like correcting him on her name. Because he just said Fontaine, and she said, no, you got to say the de. And what did she say in there? It's like the Department of Fence is the Department of Defense. So you got to put
it's just like the West Chesapeake Valley Thunderbolts. That shit had me dying when he said that too, man.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus, y'all know her from Seinfeld fame, Veep. That show Veep on what was it on HBO or Showtime? It was one of those.
I think it was HBO.
Yeah,
she was the power broker on a couple of the shows, and you find out she has a collection of superpowered serums. She has a lot of shit.
Right.
She has a lot of stuff under her sleeve.
And then those are the main characters. I mean, of course, you have Geraldine. I'm about to butcher her name. Viswanathan as Mel, which was Valentina's assistant, and Gabriel Benlos as Olivia Walker, John Walker's wife, in that flashback scene, which was crazy. That shit was wild. So yeah, here's a quick little summary. Those are, that's the cast. Quick little summary. So Thunderbolts concludes phase 5 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe by assembling a team of anti-heroes under the orchestration of CIA Director Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. The team includes Yelena Belova, Bucky Barnes, John Walker, Red Guardian, Ghost, Taskmaster. Their mission is to confront a formidable super soldier named Sentry, whose immense power is counterbalanced with his dark alter ego, the Void. Right? So it starts off with because even Bucky was on to Valentina, and the Congress was on to her because she was hiding some she had a lot of artifacts from the war in New York, which was the first
Battle
Avengers,
of New York.
the battle of New York.
Okay, but is nobody asking how the fuck did Bucky become a congressman?
That's the thing too. So I'm trying to figure that out, like how he,
that was in the very beginning of the movie. He was already a congressman. The last time we saw him, he was struggling to get money with Sam.
Yeah, maybe, but that's the beauty of it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they're gonna leave that stone unturned. I think they're gonna go back to that. They would have to, especially due to the fact that it looks like now he kind of ditched that shit and he's a full on new Avenger. I don't think he's going to kind of counterbalance both, and balance being both.
I mean, with the Sokovia Accords and all that other stuff, I don't see how he would be able to live in both worlds.
Yeah, I don't see him being a congressman by day and a motherfucking Winter Soldier by night. Like that's Batman shit.
This wouldn't work. Yeah,
yeah, I don't see that happening. But so she has a lot of like illegal artifacts and illegal. She's been doing a lot of illegal research and all types of things. So
that lady seemed to be really liking those Shatari handcuffs. She talked about those a lot.
She did. So the government is trying to crack down on her to find out what the hell is going on, and hopes to impeach her from her position in the CIA. So she quickly catches on and she hides all the shit.
Right.
And in this building, I don't what was the significance of that building again? Because it's not coming to me right away.
For me, it looked like a couple places. It looked like the place that they had Juggernaut in at first. Then it looked like the building that led to Seagate, the prison that they hold all the other people in. But it also looked like that mountain prison that they took everybody to in Deadpool 2. So I'm not really sure. But that building was layered a lot of different ways. So I'm not. But it was built specifically to house a lot of different people.
Right.
So it's somebody's creation, but somebody's design, but somebody with a lot of information.
Exactly. So basically, she hides all this shit in this building, and hopes to incinerate this shit, and just destroy it. And
that's the only thing that she could have wanted.
On top of that, she has a couple of rogue, I guess anti-hero assassins or whatever that she's that she's worked with.
They don't see themselves as bad guys.
They don't see themselves as bad guys.
It's just work to them.
Yelena being one of them, John Walker being another.
Mercenary.
Taskmaster, mercenary. Taskmaster, Taskmaster, and Ghost. All of them are
fucking crazy.
Yeah, all of them are pretty much. They work for Valentina. Mm-hmm. I like the way she lured all of them to the one building, the one spot, so they can all take each other out.
But it was weird because they all felt like they had a different mission in mind, so it made it really interesting once they all started fighting.
Yeah. So
separately, but together at the same time somehow.
Right. So Red, basically, she kind of set the people that work for her up. Right. So she's trying to destroy everything. She's trying to destroy artifacts. She's trying to destroy evidence, paperwork, whatever. And she's trying to destroy the people that work for her doing her dirty work. So she set them up to meet at one spot. So they're in there trying to kill each other. You know, she's leading them all there with one objective to take out somebody else. So they're in there fighting like, you know, I'm not here for you. I'm here for this one. No, I'm not here for you. I'm here for this. You know, am I right? You know,
that's exactly how it happened.
Why are we destroying the artifacts?
Because it's stuff that the government didn't sanction or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like illegal shit, and she's trying to destroy it so she can save her job. Because if they find out, they're doing an investigation pretty much, and if they were to find this shit, then she's, you know, gonna get impeached. So she's trying to save her ass. Oh, go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was listening.
Oh, I thought you were getting ready to say something.
No.
But so she's trying to destroy all the evidence. So they get there, and then they realize that she's playing all of them. This is after they have this big battle, and they knock over this container with Project Sentry. You know, it's a Project Sentry, which is, again, trying to replicate the super soldier shit. So this guy gets out. His name is Bob.
Bob.
You know? They make a mistake and knock over the little casket thing he's in. I guess it's some type of chamber or whatever they kept him in.
like a hyperbaric chamber of some sort. Or it's like an incubator, because he said that the last thing he remembers is going to some type of appointment to get his blood drawn, and he woke up in the box.
Right.
Like Jigpool?
Deadpool kind of signed up for the shit he was with. He just didn't know it was going to be as bad.
Well, he still went to the doctor for something and woke up in a box.
That's
true indeed.
Yeah, no, that's another experiment. Like I said, that's really basically what Marvel is. Like, Marvel is filled with a lot of characters based off of that one thing. Like, let's try to get everyone to be a specimen of a man like Captain America is. But some get close and some fail, and that's the moral of the story. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but
and if I'm not mistaken, Captain America was bred to be a soldier for America, and they wanted to just make a bunch more of him,
a super soldier. So, during World War II. So basically, if America is coming up with this secret weapon that they have to fight in a war, other countries are going to be like, we need one too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we need one too. And if they're not going to willingly, America's not going to willingly give them the recipe for the shit. So
they got to either steal it or try to replicate it.
Yeah.
That's how you got Red Guardian, the Russian one, and all the other fake ones.
This is how we get Bob. So this is where we are now with Bob. Bob gets out. He's in like a hospital PJ looking type get up. And he's just confused as hell. He was just like, and they are too. They're like, who the hell are you? And how'd you get in here when because she locked all of the doors and for them to fight to the death, then they get wind of, what was that machine called that had the flames come down?
The incinerator?
The incinerator, yeah.
Yeah.
So they got wind that they were about to be incinerated, and they asked for Ghost, to
try to go through the wall. Yeah,
go through the wall.
She can disappear and phase through the wall, but she had already set up a sonic device that messes up her technology. That's how it was tailored. It had a fail safe for each one of them that if they tried, they could be able to.
And that's how smart Valentina is. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. She's one step ahead. It's crazy because she's likable, but she ain't about shit. You know what I mean?
I mean that's usually those kind of characters. They have to be charismatic.
Yeah. She's charismatic, but she ain't about shit. But and what's crazy is you could easily destroy her because she is just a regular woman.
Oh yeah, you no powers, her hard, you probably blow her whole head off. Yeah, for sure.
Right,
and that's the crazy part.
But she can't be touched for some reason. Yeah,
right. It's crazy how they have no fear. Those strong ass superhumans, and they just be talking shit to them.
Right.
It's crazy to me. Yeah, it's always been crazy to me to see regular people talk trash to superhumans. Huh?
Right.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
It's wild though. So they devise a plan to escape. They use Ghost to escape. They used John Walker. Well, no, John Walker used himself because they figured out a way to like mess with the circuitry to try to stop the incinerator or whatever. But John Walker uses his shield.
His shield, he broke.
And then he said, "Did you peep him say, on your left or whatever?" Like to tell him to move.
He tried. He tried it. Yeah, he tried it. It was clever.
Yeah. So they eventually get out and they're putting the pieces together. They're like, man, damn, Valentina set us up, and then we go, on with the mission of trying to figure out what's going on, and they have Bob with them. And then Bob is able to, like, just by a touch, he's able to see your inner thoughts and, like, what would you say, your inner thoughts, fears,
everything.
and depressions, man. Everything, things that's wrong in your life. And because who did he touch first? He touched John Walker, wasn't it?
I believe it was U.S. Agent that he touched first, if I'm not mistaken. He touched him first.
No, he touched Yelena first.
Because U.S. Agent choked him, and it's crazy because I figured with the way U.S. Agent choked him when he called him an asshole the first time, I thought that would have worked that way with that kind of skin contact. But I believe Bob has to initiate it, so that one doesn't count. That one doesn't count.
But he did touch Yelena and saw her, and saw her deepest, darkest.
The Red Room.
Yeah, from the Red Room. The Red Room is besides the room that you're in now.
Right.
Besides the room that you're in now, the Red Room is a room that it's not necessarily a room, it's like more like a program.
Where they train the female assassins,
the Black Widows. Yeah, they train all of them.
I remember seeing that in one of those movies that I watched.
Yeah,
we watched Black Widow.
Black Widow, yeah. And it's harsh training. It's harsh. It's harsh. They have to they're compromised in a lot of ways. If you remember, Jig, was it Age of Ultron? Was she when Black Widow was explaining to Bruce how she can't reproduce? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, because the early stages of her having what they got to go through. Yeah.
Yeah, they got to go through. They make sure their assassins, the female assassins, can't bear children.
They gotta have sex with some men sometimes, and they don't want them to get caught up and get pregnant.
Right.
So
exactly.
they have to sacrifice their reproductive organs.
Right. For the sake of the mission or the mission.
Also, I feel like it gives them nothing to leverage on them.
Exactly.
Right.
That's a good point. So he touches her, and there was one scene where Yelena, I think it was Yelena's friend. Oh, was it? They were standing in the forest, and then the guy comes up. She's yelling for Yelena. They're playing hide and seek. She comes out.
That was one of the little girls from
Yeah, that shit fucked me up. That scene. She came out. Yelena said, "I'm right here," or whatever, and then before you know it, a guy comes behind the little girl and shoots her. That I was like, wait, what?
One of the reasons why I wasn't really understanding E's take when he was saying that the theme in the movie catered to the young generation. They were literally ghosting, like killing little kids in the fucking movie. Like, they were killing 7-year-olds. Like, that's not. No, bro, that ain't catering to nobody young right there. Not one bit. They were smoking, drinking. It's nothing but drugs. Like that was not for the young kids. And then the idea of long-term redemption is not for a young person.
No, it's not. It's not.
They're still living in their mistakes.
We're talking about going through things and having those things weighed on you however long it takes for you to get out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, that takes time. And a lot of times your recovery is longer than these young people been alive.
Exactly. And that scene, that's what, like, that was the first scene of him looking in. So I said, oh, that's what he can do. I said, oh, he could look inside.
It's a lot more. It's
a lot more. They just they spoon feeding us. They spoon feeding us.
The power of a thousand suns is what they usually claim. Yeah, that they claim him as. So he's an Omega level threat. He could kill everything and everyone at any given moment.
You see, Valentina said she said you can beat the whole Avengers, you could beat the Avengers with just you by yourself. Like
he right at this current moment in our timeline. He could fuck everybody.
He could everything. everything.
Yeah, I believe he could beat everybody one by one. And the only person that I would say would give him a run for his money is this guy. But that's only with some time, because he would annoy Sentry so much. Sentry would probably make an example of him quick. He would break Deadpool in pieces on purpose.
On purpose, yeah.
But
yeah, so he ends up going inside Yelena's mind. And then he ends up going inside John Walker's mind too. Like, and you get to see that played a good picture, because the last time we saw John Walker was after during Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Correct.
And this is after he killed the dude on the street, broad daylight with the shield, and like, you know what I mean?
It's crazy how he got off on that, but
yeah, that was crazy. Valentina came to his rescue. Of
course, but it's just the simple fact that they just let it go.
Right. But you did that scene, that flashback scene that we saw in this movie, it let you know what was going on in between time. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna let you explain this scene, Jig, because this scene was crazy too. I was like, wait, what? Like with his wife and the baby and him on the phone, and
that was one of the best parts for me, because it really showed you his true intentions, and it showed you how he changed from what everybody thought he should be to what he is.
Right.
I couldn't imagine losing everybody at one time.
Yeah, and it made you sympathize with him. You like, damn, he's an asshole, but shit, he even assholes get hard breaks too. Nigga, like, you know what I mean?
Some people get dealt hands that like, make them assholes that you can't come back from it sometimes.
Right. But he clearly was an asshole before his wife left. Like
he just went past a certain asshole point that he just could never come back from. Like he never came back from it, you know. And I don't know. I really feel like he still feels like he can redeem himself, and I think that's why it's still like so much of a chip on his shoulder. That he behaves, every sentence he has, he sounds like he's being sarcastic, even when he's being sincere. I don't know. That's just the type of character that it seems like that he's growing. And I really think that we're not going to lose him at any point in time. I think he's going to end up being a staple character.
No, and I like his character growth and development. And which is
that's the reason I feel like they gave us that kind of growth is because they're going to keep him.
But they're not even done growing yet. That's the key thing.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? That's the key thing.
That's what this movie is for, I think, though.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't think it's just a play. It may seem like a placeholder, because back to what you said when you asked about the name. I'm sorry, I don't want to jump around.
No, go ahead.
It makes sense with them changing the name for them, because it gives them something to believe in. You know, remember when the little girl was saying, you know, there's nobody going to come to save us this time. There's no Avengers going to walk through the door this time.
Exactly.
He said maybe we can be the ones that come. Maybe we can be the ones that come and save everybody. And that was the hope. That's the hope right there.
Yeah, that's the hope.
One small little bit of hope. And it's like, no matter what character it is, no matter, you know how we talked about before, and we always talk about Thanos, and the only thing that really makes you a villain is how you go about your plight. Because most villains have good intentions.
Exactly.
It's just their methods on how they get there.
Exactly.
John Walker is a prime example of that.
Yeah,
he's a really good example of that.
Most definitely. But yeah, so they're, you know, pretty much they're on a quest to try to at first they were just trying to get to safety.
Right.
To, you know what I mean? That's first and foremost, because like shit, she was about to torch all of them.
She's trying to kill them, actively.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Ghost. We can dwell on Ghost here a little bit. What was your thoughts on Ghost? I thought she was like, her character development for me is top notch though, especially coming from Ant-Man until now.
Yeah, I didn't think we would get her again, and
yeah, me neither.
She reminds me of a Black Panther character, because like she's super strong, she's super stern in her sentences.
Yeah,
she fights so viciously, but at the same time, you can see how intelligent she is. You know, she's super smart.
And her past, if I'm not mistaken, was kind of, you know, fucked up too. They didn't dwell on it in the movie. I think they did in Ant-Man. you know, when she was a little girl. I think there was like a flashback scene or whatever. But like this
Right.
movie, they didn't. That was my only gripe. They didn't really dwell on like. And this is I'm kind of speeding ahead, but like when
You
they
should.
went
It's
to
fine.
when they went to those shame rooms as they call them.
Yeah.
They didn't dwell on Bucky's. They didn't dwell on Ghost. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like they left that out for the sake of we know it. We already know.
I
her
was
story.
literally getting ready to say that.
Yeah.
I feel like some of that stuff is like unwritten that they felt like they don't even need to
because
dive into. It was been a waste of
because
time.
we know what happened. We know he killed Tony's dad. Like
Right.
parents, I should say.
I mean,
We
just
know
like
he-
right
you
now,
know.
we know he spent a bunch of time in Wakanda. They still ain't give us even a
Nope.
sliver of that. Like you can make a whole TV show about the time
Yeah.
that Bucky spent in Wakanda. He was there for like 2 years.
Yeah, there's no telling what he's gone through. Like he out of everyone, he's been through the most for sure. That's why he was capable
he's what?
of
113 now. I think he's like 113 now.
years old. Yeah. So out of everyone, he's been through the most shit. But which is why I think he was capable of giving that little pep talk when everybody.
He's
when
lost everything already. Everyone.
When they finally decided to join forces to go against Valentina. You know what I mean? Let me see. What was your thoughts on Yelena's leadership role?
That's literally my top line. All right. First and foremost, Florence Pugh, she needs more roles. And not even just Marvel in general. She's
a great actress. Great actress.
The slight cockeyed, like she's slightly cross-eyed just a little bit, but for me, it makes her line so much more believable because they didn't fix her eye. They could have easily fixed that eye. So for me, it makes it looks like she's been through some shit.
Right.
The way she talks to them,
I didn't think you were going there, but yeah, no, you facts. No.
she talks to them the way Black Widow used to talk to her when they were coming up.
Yeah.
She talks to them like she's a big sister, knowing she's the smallest, youngest one.
Right.
And that bravery right there shows why Natasha Black Widow was who she was.
Mm-hmm.
She was a really important character to every single Avenger there was for a different reason. And I believe Yelena is starting that. I believe she's the beginning of that. Her leadership was top notch. My first line is her and a bunch of stuff, and then I literally have 6 stars representing a 6-star general. Like that's literally what I have up there on my first line representing her leadership, because that was one of the best parts for me.
Yeah, no, for sure. Her leadership. I mean, because like we've seen her growth throughout, Black Widow and throughout Hawkeye.
Hawkeye, I was about to say we saw it.
Until
Hawkeye
now.
Was fun.
Yeah, until now, and we know she's still grieving. I talked to you about this.
Side note, bro, did you hear about Jeremy Renner in Hawkeye season 2 and why it didn't happen?
Ain't he beefing with them? I think he's beefing with them.
Not necessarily, but they wanted him to do the second season for half the pay. So he just said, "No, we just not doing the second season."
Oh no, I don't blame him.
That's what he said.
I don't blame him. Like hell no, man.
And it was based on the statistics. It was successful.
Yeah.
The show was successful, and he said to offer me half the money for a whole nother season with one extra episode. Nah, B.
We're good, B.
Nah, B. I'm good. So I would have said the same thing, but sorry, bro. Go ahead and continue.
No, I was gonna say her leadership. Like I said, we saw her growth up until this point, and the fact that she's still grieving her sister.
Shit, everybody is,
and it's crazy because, like you said, you are seeing a lot of her sister in her.
Oh yeah,
even to the point to where of how she's taking care of Bob. It's reminiscent of Age of Ultron with her and Bruce.
Sun's getting real low, big guy. She's the smallest one was calming down the biggest person. Now you got the smallest person in the room calming down somebody that can just literally eviscerate an entire block of people at a snap of a finger.
Right, exactly. Which is why towards the end, when they were battling the void, she just stood up and said, "I know what I have to do," and she went into the void first.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
And this was a lot of people's criticism. They were like, "Oh, so they're gonna beat the big bad with love and friendship?" Like, yeah,
Hey,
of course. Like, how many
who
movies
jumped
up until
into
this
the
point?
void? Nigga,
How many
no, that
movies?
was literally. Go ahead.
Listen. No, I'm saying because this shit. When they say that, it gets me so riled up. Up until this
Right.
point, how many movies have we had where it's big explosions, big battles, epic battles at the end
Right.
that we pretty much is predictable?
Right.
We know how it's going to end.
Right.
This was a different take on taking out the bad guy, which is really not a bad guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what
right.
I'm saying?
It,
It's
it
taking
didn't deserve the
Why-
smash and scrape.
Why fucking blow Century up when
Right.
we know what the, by this time we know what the cause is. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
The cause of the void is,
But that was
Doesn't
literally
make
a
any-
mirror of her of Black Widow jumping off the cliff in Virma, trying to get the Soul Stone.
That's
She-
what I'm saying. Yeah. She's
Her and Hawkeye
becoming her
fought.
sister.
Oh yeah,
She's becoming her
sacrificed herself.
sister. And
Yep.
it's crazy because I was talking to Terry earlier, and I was letting him know, about my bout of depression. And,
Right.
Even up until now, lately, I've been having, it's crazy. I told my wife this was what? Wednesday? Monday. I couldn't sleep. I kept waking up, and every time I go to sleep, I have dreams. So I had a dream of me and Rick, because we used to be roommates, and he had this
Right.
blue Buick, this old school blue Buick, and we used to drive around. He had the cassette tapes and stuff, and he's a physical media type dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
So yes,
Old school
CDs,
to the death.
cassettes. So he'll look for hey, I want to hear this. So he'll look around the car to find the CD and pop it in or whatever. And we used to ride around listening to hip hop and stuff. And I had that vivid dream, and then I woke up, went back to sleep, had another dream, but he wasn't there. But I was cleaning out the car.
Mm.
So it's just crazy because the amount of knowledge Rick had, and Terry, he talked about that earlier too. Because like I said, after Rick passed, it fucked me up, man. You know what I mean? So the amount of knowledge Rick had, I could only hope to obtain and replicate,
Right.
just like
Right.
Yelena and Black Widow. You know what I'm saying? It makes me, just that alone, just seeing her
Right.
be so close to her sister and take on that, it fucked me up, bro. Like it's a lot of things.
One
in this movie.
time for the boy Rick. One time for the brother Rick.
Yeah, one time for Rick, man. That shit fucked me up, man. But yeah, man, it was a lot of parts in this movie that did it to me, man. That damn almost brought the tears on. I had to fight him back and stuff, man.
It was small. A part for me that did it was when another one of the little kids getting killed. When Red Guardian saved that little girl from that falling piece of building.
Bruh, and then she disappeared right at,
and the look on his face after he saved the girl, because she was looking
He
at
was
him
so-
in awe.
like
He was
so happy.
He was
like-
so happy he saved
Like
that
he
little
served
girl,
the purpose. Yeah, like he served the purpose.
He just wanted to make other people feel good and other people feel
Right.
good about him. When that little girl looked at him and just like in awe, like, oh my God, mister, thank you so much for saving me. Like, and she looked at him like that. The look on his face was just like so satisfied. And then
Right.
boom,
Poof.
boy.
She
She just
disappeared.
returned a shadow.
Shadow.
Just gone.
Yeah.
And then you saw good acting. You saw the emotion wipe from his face. It just
Yeah.
you walk in the room and like, somebody, you look like you saw a ghost. That's what he looked like. Literally, it just went from his face. And I was like, that's one of them moments right there. And I was like,
Yeah.
wow, man, that's
Yeah.
great acting, great writing.
Oh yeah,
It's
that's
just so
another one.
unexpected, 'cause again,
Red Guardian. That's so my wife, she goes with me to watch pretty much every Marvel movie that comes out. But
okay,
some of them she knows, some of them she goes in blind. She didn't know nothing about Thunderbolts,
right,
and I kind of let her watch the movie until she asks questions, and then I fill her in on
right.
what's
That's
going
the way
on.
you do it.
But when we left the theater, she was like, "Man, I like him." And I was like, "Who, Red Guardian?" She was like, "Yeah, I like him." Like, so she likes Red Guardian and she likes Yelena. These are two characters that don't really get props like that.
No, nobody gives a F about Yelena.
This movie is great because now you're caring about more characters. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But that's what everybody asks for.
Yeah, hopefully somebody else feels like she does and goes back and reads up on Red Guardian.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, speaking of like his comedic timing, his little quips and shit.
I was literally gonna say one thing you can say about it, like it's jolly. Like he's just so funny for no damn reason, and he don't even be trying to be funny sometimes. That's what makes it funny. It's just he says stuff, and you just shake your head like, bro, this dude's crazy. I love the limo. They have a popcorn bucket for AMC. That's the limo with him.
The limo?
The yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, that
it's
limo, that Red
really
Guardian
cool.
limo service. The Red Guardian limo service was fire. Yeah, his character was great. Towards the end, when they were right before the battle, after they battled the Sentry, which matter of fact, we'll get into that right now. So, Avengers Tower is back in this movie. I thought that was dope. I'm like, damn, that's Avengers Tower. It made me reflect.
Avengers Tower is it's a main part.
It's a staple.
Of the court storyline.
Yeah, and
the copyright.
Yeah, and bringing us back full circle, because like a lot of the places they fought was near like where the Avengers fought.
Right there. Oh yeah.
The Battle of New York. You know what I'm saying? And that shit was like hella like refreshing for me, and telling too in a way, because it's like, all right, this is the spark of a new era in Marvel.
Oh, yeah.
This was the end of what phase 5.
Yes.
And we're going fresh into phase 6. You know what I'm saying? And it's just done a lot for my nostalgia. Going,
right.
Just taking me back. You know what I mean? But they get to Avengers Tower to confront Valentina. And
why do you think she's there?
She's
why do you think it happened there, bro?
Yeah, she knew. She had it set up all along. She's a mastermind, bro.
Now, I mean, for the long run of the MCU, why specifically do you think we got that building back?
Oh, because the new Avengers is being built. Not this new Avengers, but the new.
Thank you.
The new Avengers, the real Avengers.
They've
Sam
already
Wilson's
set it
Avengers.
up. I was about to say that, and
we gotta have a building in place.
There's some
like trust me. The new Avengers, quote unquote, the Thunderbolts, Asterisk, new Avengers, they're getting booted out there. So,
there's some secret videos that you can only see if you go on Marvel cruises.
Yeah,
and there's videos of Ironheart, America Chavez, and Kate Bishop. They're talking about their next plan. And at the end of the thing, it shows the emblem of the new Avengers building. And it has them with the new Avengers logo.
Oh, wow.
They've already put it out there. And you got the young Avengers, quote unquote, which is a whole separate branch, which would be their training and, the G League of Avengers.
Yeah. Right.
Which they're already setting up for. Then you have the West Coast Avengers, which they've already casted a live action Gwenpool, because a new Gwenpool comic just came out. They've already casted.
Oh yeah, I think they're going that route. I believe that the new Avengers are going to transform into the West Coast. They may, but I don't think they're going. I don't know. They may stay the new Avengers though.
No, the West Coast Avengers are a whole.
It may be a whole new thing.
Kate Bishop ends up in California with the West.
Oh, okay.
Bishop,
so that's how
Gwenpool and a few others, and then
I can see
the
that.
Young Avengers are the ones that stay over in New York, but those are the underlings of the New York Avengers, and that's where that storyline comes in, where they sue them for the copyrights of the name.
So do you think that we're going to end up with multiple Avengers teams or whatever? Do you think Sam is going to budge and be like, all right, you know what? All right. At first he's going to you think he's going to budge and say, because he put the copyright on the Avengers name and likeness and everything.
Right.
I'm predicting they're going to battle it out in court, or he's going to threaten to go to court, or whatever the case may be.
Well,
do you think he's going to like let it all
Look.
go and say, you know what, you guys are on the right track or whatever? Because I was just telling Terry, it seems like to me, Sam, just like how Yelena is becoming Black Widow, Sam is becoming Steve Rogers.
Absolutely, 100%.
Morally.
Oh yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. But the deciding factor is the fact that they're involving the government. It's going to fall back on the Sokovia Accord shit, man. It's all going to fall on that, and if they can operate independently, and if they're not operating independently, those names are going to have to be copywritten. It's all going to play into politics. It has nothing to do with any of them and whatever villain's coming, but that's what they're going to base it on.
Right.
And that's how they're going to separate the groups. I can't explain the comic book storyline because it's literally like 150 issues because it goes in between different characters' story arcs. But when they were suing them for the Avengers name, they actually threw hands like in Civil War.
Right.
They fought. They fought at quite a few points over that name, and at the same point with the Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and all of them coming back, they become the heroes for hire. But when they come back and try to make themselves hero for hire, Deadpool and his wacky band of characters have that name, and Matt Murdock, Jessica Jones, and them sue him for that, and that's all within the same timeline. Those court cases were all in the same storyline.
That's crazy.
So if they leave it out, they would have to skip over a bunch, but I don't see why they would. It's very easy to add that in there.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. That's a dope way to look at it. But I do see Sam coming after them for that name though, because if you think about it, it's like it's almost to me, it reminds me that whole dynamic. It reminds me of the whole, and this is where my hip hop Marvels talk come in, right? It reminds me of indies versus majors, right? In hip hop, you have the Thunderbolts / the New Avengers, sanctioned by the government now. You know what I'm saying? Sanctioned by CIA, working for Valentina.
My exact point. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And they're representing like Wheaties box. Major push. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah, major push. You got them. All of those. When Red Guardian came out with the sponsors, you got major sponsors. The news headlines. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. When they had them on the Rolling Stone magazine and everything.
Magazine covers and everything, and it's like you're
the machine is behind them. The machine is absolutely. So what do they say about major hip hop artists? Oh, you got the machine behind you, pushing you. Mm-hmm. Yep. You know what I'm saying? They got a budget that they can use on you. Now, what's the difference with the indies? The indies is the Avengers, the ones we grown to love, or the ones that we're gonna continue to love once Sam puts them together. Not sanctioned by the government.
Right.
You know, not at all. Independent like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Some of them know that's what the war was about, though.
Yeah, may not have as much funds, especially now that Tony's gone, because Tony backed it himself. You know what I'm saying? May not have the funds. You get what I'm saying?
It's just still a slippery slope, because when we watch Falcon and Winter Soldier, them niggas was begging for loans, and there's no way in hell that billionaire shouldn't have set up his guys. That's pocket change. Tony, the Pepper Potts, Tony Stark Foundation, Stark Industries, shit, Hammer Tech. Somebody, they should have got them guys. There's no way they should have had to go and ask for money for anybody.
But my thing is still though, even if they had the money, they're still operating
within government constraints. That's the entire issue. That's what I'm saying.
They're still operating underneath the government. They're still operating even with money. So it's like an indie versus major thing. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what's going to come.
It all depends on where Sam falls. It all depends on where his loyalty falls, because he's Captain America now. Are you going to stand with America, or are you going to stand for America? It all depends. And
that's where we are in politics too. I ain't even gonna go there though, but that's
right.
Like you said, we're gonna look. Are you gonna stand with or for?
Or
you know
for.
what I mean?
Which one is it? Which one is it?
any person asks me on the street, am I American? I'll be like, you're damn right. I served in the military, but am I going to be with what America is doing now? No, I'm not.
Nah, man. No.
You understand what I'm saying?
I can't lie to you. No.
You get what I'm saying? So I get
bit.
it. I can see how that comes to a head. Like, you know.
Yeah.
But that was my little hip hop Marvel take, because I'm like, that kind of reminds me of like the indie and major argument, you know. But if you think about it, some of the best shit comes out independent, bro.
Absolutely. That's because they believe in what they're doing. They believe in themselves
exactly.
and their product. And those independent heroes know that what they stand on is sound. I don't need backup. I don't need your validation. I also don't need your sanctioning. I'm going to go over there regardless. Even if you say I shouldn't, I'm already actually on my way.
Best movies, best music, like, you know what I mean? So yeah, man, like, yeah, I just had to put that out there because it kind of, I was watching, I was like, damn, it's kind of like the whole indie major thing. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah,
okay, I loved his yellow suit. The only thing for me in the comic, Sentry is a little more muscular. You could see the guy swimming in that suit a bit. So that was a tiny issue for me. But what saved it for me is that they decided not to add CGI. So I was understanding because he was a regular dude.
The practical effects worked perfect for this movie. It worked perfect. I think the only CGI we saw was with Sentry when he was flying, when he threw Red Guardian out the window, brought him back. Like, so what was your thoughts on that fight
was actually done? So much of it was, you can see, was actually done practically, and it made the fight look so fucking nasty.
When I say he whooped their ass, he whooped their ass. It was sad to watch.
He wiped the room with them, and it was so fun to watch. And you're not rooting for them to kill him, but if that was a saying we used to say when I used to watch wrestling, if Kane was on the screen, you get your ass whipped. Because when Kane come out, you're getting your ass whipped.
Yeah,
Kane came out and he whooped their ass, man. It's like, and then they were doing so many slide moves, so many team up moves, and he was catching all of them. And he was handing out skibbity paps, bro. It was wonderful.
He turned John Walker's shield into a taco, bro.
That bend, it was beautiful. But the fact that John Walker kept up, though.
He kept up. The funny part is, after they got defeated, he's still walking around with this bent ass shield.
That's my point. That's what I meant by kept up. He don't care, man. He don't care. Sentry whipped their ass. But that's a testament to John
walking around
Walker,
with a bent ass shield. Like, what the
this
hell?
Is my shield, and he probably still threw it bent.
Oh man, but yeah, that was crazy. Like, that fight scene was dope. That was just a prerequisite to what we're probably gonna see.
Yes, you can see the change in quality, because that was an issue. You can reference Heimdall's son in what movie was that? I think that was Thor: Love and Thunder, where the CGI was a little choppy. And the end of Deadpool and Wolverine, at the end of the major fight scene when they jump off the back of the bus, Wolverine's left arm and Deadpool spins his sword, and the CGI is unmastered. Still to this day, like, if you go and see it, it's still unmastered, and you can see the mess up. So some of the quality on some of the projects, you can see that they didn't really put it through. It looks wonderful. Have you seen the trailer for Ironheart?
I saw
the most recent one, not the old one. They released one a day or two ago.
No, that one I haven't seen yet.
You need to look at it tonight on whatever clearest screen you have. They use practical stuff with her suit.
That
dope. Shit looks, crazy good, bro. You're gonna appreciate the way she looks so much. And everybody's like, they feel like they're trying to tank Ironheart by not promoting it. What they're doing is staying out of the way of the Thunderbolts and trying to gain as much money and traction they can for this film. Once that naturally dies down, you're going to get nothing but Ironheart. You got until June. You know what I mean? And it looks great, bro. Yeah, it looks good. That's another one.
Yeah, for sure.
A young Avenger.
Yep, for sure. So towards the end, go. What were you about to say?
that's a side note I can say for the end because we're talking about Ironheart. We're talking about Tony Stark dying, and his funeral. There was Iron Lad was there. That's another small loophole they never dived back into. That would be a sweet add-in for us to get Iron Lad during Ironheart. That's just something I wanted to say.
For sure.
It's something they never did. They always give us stuff and never go back. There's a lot of things that they opened up and never went back to.
Never went back to, for sure. I was gonna touch on that last battle scene, towards the end with the Void. Like you mentioned, the little girl, that was a devastating part.
Would you rather have the Void or Sentry?
I would rather have if he was on my team.
Long term.
Oh, you're saying just one of the characters in the MCU period?
Yeah.
Oh, probably Sentry, I would say. The
good
Void,
guy, bad guy.
Huh?
Would you want Sentry as a good guy or bad guy?
Oh, of course, good. I wouldn't want him fucking up, like, you know what I mean?
Right. That's what I was thinking. I would not want him as a bad guy.
Nah.
Even as the Sentry.
Which is why I think this is why a lot of people are saying, like, is this new Avengers team is a great team because it's due to the fact that Sentry is on their team. Like, nigga. Like, because you look at it on paper, it's like, they really don't look like they could do much.
That's like the Avengers Vision.
Nigga, like, you got he's like Vision, Thor, and Hulk in one.
One, absolutely. Yeah, wow. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Mention he's so fast, man. He's so fast.
So they kind of shorten their roster,
right,
to equally match up with, like, you know what I'm saying? Sentry could take on about. I mean, are they still going with 6 Avengers when Sam forms his team? You know what I'm saying?
Should there be a limit?
Right. Well, no, true. But I was just trying to do the lineup. Like, Sentry easily taking on 4 motherfuckers, like, by itself.
But you need 4 god levels for him. Yeah, you're not gonna give him Black Widow, Hawkeye, motherfucking. Not even, you can't even give him Luke Cage, man.
No, that's what I'm saying.
That's not. It ain't enough. Like, what can you say? It's not enough.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. They have, like, one of the best, like, on paper now that you add Sentry to the, you know what I mean?
There's nothing great value or Timo about this lineup. They're bad.
Not really. Not really.
Hand-to-hand combat.
Ghost. How about when Ghost helped them out and got the truck, nigga?
Hey, that shit was intense.
You know what I'm saying?
It was intense,
like,
man. The hand-to-hand combat, the hallway fighting scenes. Yelena's top notch. Ghost, mastermind. Like, she works quite a few steps ahead. That's how. Look at her entrance in the room.
Exactly.
Red Guardian, powerhouse. I didn't know he was as strong as he was. I knew, of course, he's a super soldier. Think about Captain America when he was holding that helicopter from flying away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They got the strength.
They got the strength,
But, he's Russian. He got that. He's stocky, so he has a little.
He looking like Zangief. From Street Fighter.
That's a perfect correlation. I wonder if he designed himself off of Zangief because he talks like him and all.
Yeah, I don't know.
I need to do some research on that.
Yeah.
Red Guardian, Zangief.
Yeah. But yeah, man. That last battle, like I said, Yelena, she goes into the Void. They go to the shame rooms. It's like reliving hell all over and over again, you know. And like I said, this goes back to the whole mental health thing. I like how
PTSD, conquering,
because you can tell this whole group,
traumas.
Yeah, this whole group has went through some shit. That's the thing that's different between them and the original OG Avengers. Like,
most of a lot of them were well off.
Well, yeah, you know what I'm saying? This group is like, they came from the gutter, nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Dirt broke, fucked up, or orphans, dead parents, just no parents. Dude,
fuck new Avengers. They should be called the motherfucking Hood Avengers or some shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
survivors.
The survivors, nigga. I like that.
Real.
Yo, we might have to get some shirts. Nigga, the new survivors, nigga. That's what
survivors, because that's what they've been through stuff and they kept going. That's what make this not just redemption, perseverance, man. Because they got hit with everything possible in life, man, and still somehow kept the hope and the energy to still try to help other people.
Exactly, and that's the joy of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like when I came to see you the other day at work, and you were, I was still in my depressed stage or whatever, and you was like, "Yo, we got this" or whatever. It's that. It's like leaning on
that little shit. Yeah,
your friends,
absolutely, brother.
leaning on, people that have your best interests. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
At heart, leaning on them and having them guide you or whatever. So that's why she went into there. I mean, we could tell Bob was, and then when they go to his shame room, nigga, his mom is getting beat by his stepdad downstairs.
Wasn't even his dad.
Yeah, and he's just upstairs, like, you know what I'm saying, in his room, sitting on the floor and shit. Like, it's some heartbreaking shit. You know what I'm saying? And it just goes to show, like, this is why I advocate for that. But you know what I mean? I can't stand fucking bullies. You know what I'm saying?
We talk about that all the time.
I can't stand that shit. Bro. I hate that shit with a passion. You know what I mean? Preying on the helpless. You know what I mean? And trying to put them down in many ways. Those are some of the things that I advise. And when I hear people say, well, Marvel movies, my MCU movies is supposed to be about, escaping and stuff like that. You got these critics out here saying it's a lack of escapism, just, due to the mental health and shit like that. But to me, there's lessons and shit to be learned in the escape as well, nigga.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's you have to learn within that too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's clever. You know what I mean? I think it's clever the way they use this. And a lot of people who suffer from mental health are championing this movie.
100%. I'm glad they're doing it out loud.
Yeah, I wouldn't even take to heart these different publications talking about how the movie is flopping and shit like that. I would ignore that. Like, just go see the fucking movie. That's it.
I'm learning that with these fans, it just seems to be an agenda with as far as the way they critique these movies these days. If it's not them, they don't like it. If they ask for new characters, you give them to them, and they're like, "Why are these characters in the movies?" And then it's like, "Well, where did they come from?" And then they give us the backstories, and they're like, "What is this show?" And it's the stories for the characters that you asked for in order, bro.
Exactly.
And then you give them to them, and then it's like, oh, now, perfect example. The entire YT world was upset that She-Hulk twerked in the TV show with Meg Thee Stallion, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that same exact YT group applauded Deadpool dancing to NSYNC and mimicking some highly Diddy-esque movements with no issues.
Yeah, for sure.
They applauded it. They repeated it. They danced to it. They made videos of it. But they want to boycott She-Hulk, which was one of the best Marvel TV shows they had. I don't get the hypocrisy. And you get movies like this, they give you new characters, new stories, with backstories they've already given us on TV shows and other movies, and you're still complaining. Just tell me either you're not really a fan and you just want to fucking complain, or you haven't read the comics and you don't understand the arcs that they're trying to mimic and or change for the MCU.
Terry said it best. He said, this movie was for Marvel fans. Period. Like,
period.
Period. It was for Marvel fans.
Same thing about the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. It wasn't just the Deadpool movie. That movie was for Marvel fans.
Mm-hmm. And the
OG
fact that
people,
No, and I was gonna say, and the fact that they, it seems like things are coming full circle. I told Terry earlier, a lot of people say, well, Marvel lost me, which these last few movies that they put out, they, teetered the line. We were like, what? I think my main gripe was, there were some entertaining movies, don't get me wrong, but my main gripe was, where's the connection, man? We're missing the key element to these Marvel movies. Where is the Like some of the post credit
Everything
scenes
can't be synergy. Everything can't have synergy. Just like that when Shang-Chi came out. Shang-Chi was horribly unconnected to everything, but it's still connected to everything.
Right.
They have to have their independence. That was the issue. They wanted to connect every scene to every other scene that happened ever in history. You can't do that shit. Let these characters live individually. Let them randomly walk down the street, see this motherfucker. Oh, there go such and such character. Then you can blend it in later on. It doesn't have to be full synergy.
To your point, though.
100% of the way.
To your point, though, I think Marvel is realizing like we had a time period of that. Yeah. So now
we had a template. We had a way.
Yeah, let's get back to the meat and potatoes of it. You know what I'm saying? Because we did that. You know what I'm saying? Because we did that for a while. We, like you said, and that's a good point. I never looked at it that way. Like them showing individuality with different movies. Because I used to see a lot of the end credit scene, you know, the end credits or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what the hell? This was just a regular scene. They could have just kept that. Yeah. Like this doesn't link to this, you know, this, that, and so
because a lot of times people expect it to pay off at the very next movie. That's not the case, because then you got to look at what character's movie that was in. You got to look at what they were trying to show.
Because they already had the slate mapped out. Yeah, you're right.
Absolutely. Yeah, they already had the slate gets moved around, and then sometimes that credit scene doesn't pay off until 4 or 5 movies later.
Yeah, and they didn't have the slate mapped out. So, but now I think the slate is clean now.
100%.
Now they 100%. To the point. Now they're to the point to where they're like, all right, let's get back to what we know, what we know best, which is why you have this the end credit scene with do you want to get into the end credit scene? Well,
no,
before
go
we
ahead
do that,
keep talking, good brother.
Hold on, before we do that. So, you know, we talked about them defeating the void with love and friendship and fellowship, right? Which I thought
we ain't seen that since Star-Lord in his dance-off against Ronan
and
the
that's what I told Terry earlier. I said this movie kind of is reminiscent of Iron Man, just based off of the post-credit scene alone, and Hulk, based off of the post-credit scene alone, because it leads you into the next movie. Right. Which, like you said, it hadn't been done in a while. And it reminds me of Guardians. Just based off of the fact
that dance-off, bro.
It's just based off of the fact that you have these characters that no one really either knows about or care about,
right?
And they make you fall in love with them, and it's like, you know what I mean? It's a whole.
Everybody knew who Star-Lord was after that.
Exactly.
You knew who Star-Lord was.
I told you, my wife
knew who Ronan the Accuser was.
I told you, my wife, she likes Red Guardian. Nigga, like, you know what I'm saying? Like Red Guardian. Right. You know, I can't wait till the Funkos come out so I can cop on them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Red Guardian's already there, good brother.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so you know, that's my thing. You know, as far as like the the characters towards the end, them fighting the void off and kind of just defeating the void with kindness, because they didn't have to kill. Because if you notice, Bob still has the void in him. He's just like, I don't know. And that's how we are as humans. Like, we just toy with that.
They only really had to defeat the idea of the void.
Right.
And, like they said, they didn't have to kill him. They
right.
They didn't have to harm him, honestly.
Right. But you notice he was fighting himself, and that's what we do a lot of times, especially in depression. I beat myself up a lot. My wife had to tell me, stop talking like that. Stop beating yourself up.
But that leads me back to what you just said about friends helping friends. You're not realizing that they weren't defeating him. Them sorting themselves out in those shame rooms helped him get out of his own, which allowed Sentry to be able to control the void. Because outside of that, he's just a bipolar, crazy motherfucker that when the bad side come out, a whole bunch of people die.
Exactly. And this is what people fail to realize. They want the big explosions. They want the big, the big
You had to
finale.
Use your brains for this movie. You had to listen to the dialogue. You had to look at the back and forth. You had to see the body language. That's the problem. They just want, point, fight, kick. It's more than that. And what did she say when they was locked in that tunnel? She was like, "Shit, what do we all just punch and shoot? Nobody does anything else."
Another thing,
Yelena said
nobody can fly.
No. All we do is punch and shoot. She's like, so we stop.
Right.
It has to be more than that, man. It does. And
but you see how they work together. They literally work their way up the wall.
Back to back.
together,
Back to
old
back.
fashioned style. It remind me of
Absolutely.
like nothing comes easy. Like so, this is why I relate to this group of heroes.
Yeah.
I guess we can call them heroes now, but
They are.
yeah,
It only takes one or two moments, like Colossus said.
Exactly.
1 or 2 moments to make you a hero.
I relate to them because, you know, they actually have to, like, they wasn't given everything. Everything wasn't handed.
Yep.
If you're a person that nothing was handed to you, you know how the story goes, nigga. Like, so I find it kind of not odd, kind of, shit, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I'm not even surprised by this, but most of the people that are critiquing, well-off motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
People don't see the struggle. They don't see trauma. They don't see perseverance. They don't need to persevere.
Right.
Because somebody cleans shit up for them. Clean themselves up. They don't.
Yeah, this is why we can relate. Right, especially, I'm working on my shit every day, nigga. Actively. Every day, I'm still working. Yeah, actively as I talk, I'm still working on my own shit, nigga. Like, you know what I mean?
People they don't get that. They don't understand the real life of real life.
Exactly, which leads me, and this will be the last point before we close it out or whatever. But
it's all good.
So there was one scene, and I'm just being transparent here, being vulnerable and transparent here. So there was this scene. This is right before they actually fought the Void, right? And this is after they got their ass whooped by the Sentry.
Yeah,
and went down to the street, and you know, Yelena's like pissed, and she's telling everybody about themselves, like she's just hitting people with the harsh reality.
Yeah,
she even told John Walker, I ain't even gonna go on you because nigga, shit, you've
been messed up.
You've been fucked up. Like, I ain't even gonna talk about you. You know what I mean? So then she storms off, and you know, her dad is chasing her. You know, Red Guardian, he's chasing her or whatever, and they have this dialogue in the street.
Yeah.
And that dialogue reminds me so much of the situation I'm in right now with my daughters.
Yeah.
And you know, it's to the point to where like that shit hit home. And that shit damn near made me want to cry, because she was telling this guy, you know, she was just telling her dad, like, you know, I've been going through all this shit. Like, where were you? I needed you. Yeah. She even called him daddy. Like, I needed you. Like you know what I'm saying?
Daddy.
Like, yeah.
That shit.
I needed you. Where were you? And he was like, I thought you didn't want me. You know what I'm saying? That hit hard, because that's how I fucking feel.
Yeah.
Just given the circumstances of, I haven't dove deep into that. I think I may have talked to you about it off.
You have more than once. We have the same situation. So we have talked about it. Yeah.
So it's like, it's not like I don't want to be there. You know what I mean? But it's just certain circumstances, and I totally understand my daughter's feelings. You know what I mean? Yeah. But his sentiment just kind of matched mine, because I want to be there. But I thought you didn't want me. Like, I thought you don't fuck with me like that. You know what I mean? And so that part right there, just like, I had to write that. I wrote that in my notes, and I told my wife when we got home, I was like, damn, that part right there fucked me. I damn near cried in the theater. You know what I'm saying? Just thinking about my own. But like I said, it goes back to, I'm working on my shit all the time. You know what I'm saying? Constant battle. It is constant battle, but it's about, overcoming it, and relying on fellowship and friendship to, help see you through. Just like this movie, you know what I'm saying? So that's why this movie gets like this movie. So let's rate the movie, man. Out of 5, out of 6 stones.
I forgot about our stone. Out of the 6 stones, out of our 6 Infinity Stones, I would definitely put this at, I'm gonna give it a solid 5. I only have a few problems with the movie, and those issues that I have with this movie are my shit. So that's why it's 5.
That's how I feel.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have to be honest.
It's subjective.
When I critique stuff, where that's something wrong with me on how I see it. So that's the only reason it gets a 5. It's the only reason.
Yeah, it's subjective.
It's the
to
only
say
reason.
the least. I would give it a solid 5 as well.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's a few things that I'm like, okay, but they're not made. I wouldn't consider them like crazy things that
It's not even
or
issues.
major
It's just
things.
things
Yeah,
I would have changed.
yeah,
And like
exactly.
that's why I call it my
Yeah,
stuff. That's just my
like you mentioned, like the suit. That's one of them. The suit, I would have.
Yes,
You
he
know,
seemed to be swimming in the suit a bit. Then he is a lot stronger than he let on. But I understand this was just the beginning of his incubation, so he's probably not
exactly.
even understanding his full powers. I got that again. My shit.
Exactly.
The hair, because he came out. He was brunette when he came out the thing. Sentry's blonde.
Yeah, the hair was all right to me because he was blind. He's blind. I thought I was like, well, if he keeps the brown hair, that's gonna fuck it all up. But they went with the blonde.
Yeah,
they went with the blonde. You know what I'm saying? This is why I'm wishing. I'm glad he's in the MCU now. Oh, and we do have Genuine in the MCU now.
Yeah, go figure on that.
Yeah, Genuine. Yeah, Genuine is in the MCU. Yeah, because
Pony is officially canon.
Yeah, Pony is officially canon. In the limousine, I see Red looking like, "Well, how the hell?"
Right.
But yeah, Pony is. He the Red Guardian played, because they were getting chased by government agents or whatever, and well, actually, it was like a military.
It was in the military, 100%.
And
definitely the guard.
I guess he had some switches or whatever for how superhero cars are or whatever, and I guess he hit one of the switches and Pony came on inside the limousine. So that means
it's a party limousine.
Yeah, it's a party limousine. So that means if Pony's in I was going down the rabbit hole because I was like, if Pony's in the MCU, that means Timbaland is in the MCU, which means Jay-Z is in the MCU. You know what I'm saying? Then I just kept going and going. You know what I mean?
All you would have to do is do a deep dive of like a Miles Morales comic. I'm sure he references the music he listens to.
Exactly.
I'm sure it's in there.
Oh,
at some point.
It's plenty. It's that, and that's the beauty of hip hop and Marvel, and this why we have this platform.
It's hand in hand.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I enjoyed the movie. The post credit scene was great. Was awesome. What you think about the Fantastic Four? Ship coming through the atmosphere of this universe. There's no telling who it could. Could it be the Fantastic Four? Could it be Doom? I mean, I don't know who.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I don't know.
We know they're fleeing a destroyed world. I can say that. We know they're fleeing like a universe that's fucked up.
Hey, bro, it could be the fucking Skrulls. Hey, you don't know. You don't know because they're still. We still never saw them get to the home that they were promised. And with all of the different worlds coming, everybody's running from Galactus. So he's eating every world he comes across.
The dope thing about it is I'm glad it was one of those post-credit scenes that does lead to the next movie. Right. So I was fired up for that.
It doesn't matter what movie comes out next. It's going to lead to it. And then you know for a fact that we're going to get an answer.
Right. I saw that 4. I was like, all right, well, that's next. So, shit, let's bring it on. I'm ready for
like you said, they're getting back to the chronological meat and potatoes. They're going to do it exactly the way they used to. And you hate to say they're dumbing it down. They got a little difficult for a while. It got hard to keep up. You got 14 shows, 2 movies every 2 months, and then you can't watch the next movie unless you watch 4 of the shows. That got hard for a lot of folks.
Yeah.
It was like the episodes of Empire. Like I fell off of Empire. You missed 1 episode. You never went the hell back. So
never went
like
back.
That sometimes. Yeah.
Never went back.
We went back maybe about 3 months ago.
Oh, okay.
To try to finish Empire, and it was worth the rewatch if you haven't finished it. You can tell the writing.
No, my wife and I finished it. It's just I wonder how it would be like doing a full rewatch, but yeah,
we do that periodically.
Yeah, go back and watch. Yep, sure do. We do too. But yeah, so yeah, that post credit scene got me amped. Even seeing them in their new like suits, like looking like a team.
Well, which is
That's
weird
just,
because I still want to know how they're playing off this time setting. It's set back in like the 50s and 60s, so those suits are new but old.
well, no, I was talking about the Avengers, the new
Oh well,
Avengers.
see now that's something different. Their suits and their
Yeah,
logos look fan effing tastic.
yeah, yeah. How? What you think about the new? Yeah, what you think about the new logo? It's not the arrow anymore. It's like the little spike going through the A.
That's how I know what I'm saying is 100% proof because the new Avengers have a logo, the young Avengers have a logo, the West
Right.
Coast Avengers have that. Like
Mm-hmm.
every single, and what happens is they all end up signing up to be government sanctioned, and that's how
Right.
they get their locations. Except the West Coast Avengers were the last ones to sign on because
Right.
they're over in California. They don't really care. They were working out of a like an old Orpheum theater.
Right.
They don't care. So it's going to be
No, that's
fun.
dope. I would.
Hopefully they get back to it.
Yeah, that's dope. I love that they bringing back, bringing all of those teams to the MCU. I'm hoping they bring the Squadron Supreme. That way we get 2 Superman-like characters with Hyperion. And
I'm going to
maybe,
tell you, I believe you're right. And
you know what I'm saying?
one of the things with Marvel, the toys always tell shit early. There's a Marvel Legends run where there's the Squadron Supreme's Power Princess.
Mm.
Their version of Wonder Woman. The figure's $129. Used,
Damn.
my nigga. Used.
Damn.
And that's literally one of the highest rated brand new. Like usually, even when they come out brand new, it never goes above a certain cap. That shit came out $129. That's how you know Squadron Supreme is coming because the old Squadron Supreme action figures got sent to Ollie's and Walgreens. Anytime they ship out action figures and make them $7, that means a whole new run's coming. Like the old, that's how I ended up getting all those action figures, like those X-Men ones, because they ended up cheap right before X-Men 97 came out and all of those figures dropped.
Right.
The Squadron Supreme joints are hitting the streets, man, and they're super expensive. And people like, who is the Squadron Supreme? And people like, you got to know to know.
Right.
And the ones who know, bro, obviously know something because ain't no way that figure came out at $130 and it's only supposed to be about 20.
Right. Exactly.
So you spot on with the Squadron Supreme. It's the only way that's happening. The toys always give it away. The Legos and the action figures always tell shit early.
That would be dope because then, like I said, you have another Superman-esque type character with Hyperion, and then maybe you could lay the blueprint for Blue Marvel. Who knows?
They claimed we were supposed to get that last time, but you already know with this Doom world that we're gonna need some really god level characters to fight the version of Doom that we're getting.
Yeah, I would definitely love to see that. But yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. This has been a great discussion.
I'm glad we finally got something back on the books. It's been a minute. I'm glad you're back in front of the microphone and the laptop. I see the colorful road over there to your left.
Oh,
your
yeah,
screen,
yeah.
So it is your left. I about to say your screen is reversed.
Yeah.
I see you bust your baby out the package after a while. So
Yep. So
you need to get back to it.
Don't mind this 49. That's my wife's shit right there. That's my wife 49er shit. My giant shit is over there. Yeah,
she can still be a good person. She can still be a good person.
She's a West Coast Avenger.
It's okay, right?
It's
sure. Okay.
But yeah, man. Shit. Like I said, we haven't had a show in a while. We got a lot of content for you. I mean, it's a lot happening in the world now.
100%.
In the world of
with our other show, we usually talk about a lot of different random topics. We can dive into some of that craziness.
Right. So we a lot of topics, a lot of things happening in hip hop and the world of Marvel. So we will be sure to cover that.
Yep.
Please remember to listen, share, rate, and subscribe everywhere you get your podcasts across the board. Do remember to follow us across all social media platforms. That's at Hip Hop Marvels. That's Twitter and Instagram. Hip Hop Marvels, all one word on Facebook. At Hip Hop Marvels on Threads, which we barely use anyway. We had the TikTok up. I'm missing anything, Jig. Be on the lookout for a new and improved show. Red, you want to say something? Our newly added co-host, Red.
This was fun. I'm mad I didn't know about it, but I learned a lot today.
That's good. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
And I can't wait to do it again.
That's what it's all about. Now, when we record again, we'll have more current event topics that you're hip to. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So
she reads them all.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, might have to call you Alpha Red. Omega Red is taken, huh?
Right.
Thanks, guys, for having me.
Yes. All right, peace, bro.